Howard for Drum Talk TV, and I am on the third and final night of the Bonzo Bash, the East Coast Invasion, and we are here at the Bergen County Center for the Performing Arts in Inglewood, New Jersey, and I have with me Johnny Kelly. Wow, how are you, man? I had the pleasure of being able to take 5 minutes off, check Johnny out, and I got to tell you something. I think Bonzo would be very proud of what he heard tonight. Johnny did a killer job,
Thanks.
man. Oh my God, it was just awesome. Let me ask you a question, man. How did this come about, man? How did the contact happen? I mean, how'd you get involved?
Wow. I just met Brian. I met him at NAMM just this past January, and I know Sutton through other mutual friends and stuff, and it was like one of those things. Where he was like, you know, you got to hook up with Brian. You know, they're talking about like doing an East Coast Bonzo Bash.
Absolutely. It was a huge success on the West Coast.
I watched the YouTube video the night after every one that they've had. I go and I watch it and stuff, and even this year at NAMM, I wasn't there the night that they did it. Oh, wow. So like, you know, I've never gotten this to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it always looks like so much fun. And the guys that they had, like, you know, in the previous ones, they do such a great job with it and stuff. And it's cool to see, like, you know, like all the different people, like, you know, with their take. Some of them do, like, you know, their take on it and stuff instead of trying to do something like, you know, verbatim.
Sure.
You know, like it's interesting, but it's like there's the common denominator, which is, you know, John Bonham. And it becomes obvious, like, you know, watching these guys play, you see how much of an impact that he really has on these players.
You know, it's frightening too, in a sense, when you think of the relevancy of John Bonham, to think that, you know, I mean, he left us so soon and so long ago, but yet he still brings the quintessential groove. I mean, anybody that you talk to that plays, I mean, the first thing these guys are going to say is Bonham. They go, whoa, Bonham. And three things always come to my mind. You've got the power, the grace, and the groove. You know, and I mean,
it was a combination of elements for sure. You know, like he wasn't just a basher or like,
sorry,
you know,
I got locked out.
You know, like you know, whatever, like, you know, like whatever the Neanderthal, you know, primate drummer basher. He really wasn't like that. It was, you know, he had it played with a lot of grace.
Man, I know.
And a great amount of dynamics and stuff, and that's really, like, you know, he had the capabilities to do all these other things, and he knew just when to pour it on, and like, you know, he was really good with working with a song.
Yes.
You know, a lot of, like, you know, not only what he did, but what he didn't do, and like, you know, like he would play certain songs, and it was like he would let the notes breathe, and they would have, like, you know, this whole other aura about him, and that plays a big part in what he did, and it really, like, it really made the song better, not just like, you know, it's not just one of those things where it was like, wow, great drummer, you know, I mean, but it had a lot to do with the song.
Well, you know, and it's so funny too, because when you take a Bonham kit, you see it on the stage and no one's around you. It's a drum kit. You got to put the persona on it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, each person has a soul, and then you could read through the bullshit, and, like, you know,
yeah, you can.
You know, you can tell when somebody's, like, you know, just full of crap and just playing drums for you know, whatever reason, and there isn't any passion in it. And I can appreciate somebody that's less skilled that has more passion in what they're doing, you know, and it has more character in it. It's like, you know, a lot of, like, you know, a lot of classic rock, you know, some. You know, I mean, I'm not going to start, like, you know, trying to, you know, whatever, slag on anybody, but some of these guys, like, you know, they weren't known for being great drummers, but there are things that are, like, you know, signature things in the playing that really made those songs special.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's so true too, because, you know, you'll take a guy who's not necessarily Shopsmeister, but this guy's the heart and soul of a band that's selling 10 million records. I mean, when you put anybody else in that position,
it changes the whole dynamic. You know, it does. It changes it, and it's, you know, like when you have, like, I see it more on, like, you know, like the older music, and it's not so much like, you know, whatever the technical proficiency of it, but it really is something that really does lend to the heart and soul of the song itself, and it becomes something, a part of the song, instead of just, you know, whatever cool drum parts.
Yes. Yes, and you know something, that's something that's been kicked around with a lot of the guys that we've spoken to tonight, is heart. It keeps coming into it.
Yeah.
Every time everybody's talking, it's like, you know, no one's really talking about chops. They're talking about heart. They're talking about what you're talking about, digging in. Digging in, man, getting something, you know, just bringing that bass drum, bringing that groove, sitting back on that beat. And I'll tell you something, I had the opportunity to see this guy play tonight, and this guy is not He ain't kidding, man. He is practicing what he just said. It was an incredible experience. The Bonzo Bash is just absolutely huge. Brian Tichy's done such a wonderful job putting it together.
It really has. It really is. It's like I've never done anything like this. I've never been part of like the drumming community. You know?
Right.
I mean, you know, like I'm friends with a couple of guys, but I've never done anything like this. I've never done clinics. You know.
Right. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Well, I mean, you know, whatever. You know, of course, that bridge when I get to it. You know.
A lot of things that you said tonight, you could show a lot of cats what you're talking about.
Hopefully, you know, like it's some, like, you know, hopefully there's, like, you know, some kids out there that are watching these shows, and, you know, they grab something from this, and it'll make them want to pursue it, and, like, you know, let it go on for another, you know, almost 50 years.
And you know, that's something that's going to lead into perfectly too, because, you know, you mentioned the kids and you mentioned doing the clinics. Where can we see you playing? What are you up to?
Right now I'm on a break. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. I'm going out with Danzig. I got a bunch of.
That's a great gig.
Yeah, I've been playing with Danzig for like 10 years.
That's a great gig.
You know, it worked out for a long time. Like, you know, before Peter died in Type O, whatever year, I was like doing both, you know, for a long time, and it was like, it worked out well. Type O wasn't doing anything one year. Danzig was busy. Danzig would get busy, and Type O would go on a break. And I was able to maintain a perfect balancing act, you know, for a long time.
The quintessential professional musician with the bag at the end of the bed packed and ready to go. Well, I'll tell you something, man. What I saw tonight was just more testament to how much Bonham meant to all the drummers.
I wear it on my sleeve. I got a little bit there.
Look at that. Look at that.
Give him a little.
Yeah, that's right, man. Throwing some
little
props
love, yeah.
Throw some props at him, man. Hey, let me answer this question. This is kind of a fun question. We've been having some fun with the guys tonight. If Jimmy Page called you up and said, dude, we need you to come in and play one tune for us, what tune would it be?
Probably Thank You.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or, you know, Since Ever. Thank You. I mean, it's just a beautiful song. It's like when I listen to Led Zeppelin, I don't listen to it just as, you know, a drummer. That was like a byproduct for me. That it was like, you know, such a big influence on me, you know, drum-wise, but just as a band. I mean, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, everybody was the utmost, you know, the top of their game in each field. And it's like they made great songs.
They changed the game.
They did. I mean, there were a lot of other bands, you know, that I was in. Big Black Sabbath fan. I'm a big Beatles fan. And big Rolling Stones fan and stuff. And it's like, you know, like I try to listen to Led Zeppelin as a song. And not, you know, like, I mean, it's cool to hang out and listen to it and, like, you know, try to break it down and hear what, like, you know, what each guy is doing individually. But it really is, as each guy was as talented as they were, it really was a sum of its parts. And that's why I think it was like the right decision when Bonham passed away, that they just, you know, they called it a day.
It's so funny too, because you can read all the books that are on it, you can dissect it, you can do whatever the hell you want to it. There was no way they were going to go without it.
They could.
But you know, it was so cool because I saw the reunion show that they did when they had Jason playing, and you know, actually I saw it, and I'm not trying to plug anything here, but I saw it in the Best Buy when I was walking through looking for a new kitchen appliance or something. And when I saw what he did, I mean, I felt like, wow, man, that sounds amazing. I've never heard Jimmy Page sound it. I mean, it was just absolutely killer.
Yeah, that one was pretty special.
That was
it was very important. It was very important for them, and like, you know, like what Ahmed Erdogan, you know, meant to the band and stuff. Like, you know, so it was like, it was very important, I think, like, you know, for all of them, for a number of reasons, that show was to be very special.
Precisely. And you know what? It was everything as billed, as is this show. I mean, these guys are going out here tonight. I got to tell you, folks, if you do get an opportunity to come and see the Bonzo Bash, these guys are laying their heart and souls out here, man. I mean, it's almost like John is with us here, okay?
It's definitely a fun night. I mean, it really is. I'm so bummed out that it's like, you know, tonight's the last night. Everybody's like, you know, crashing. Like, oh man, well, now what? You know, it's like we're trying to figure out how can we keep this going? Because everybody really is having a good time.
Well, you know, you never know, man. I actually posed the question to a couple of guys tonight. I said, Madison Square Garden and Wembley. What do you think? And, you know,
it just means if it means us getting together and playing, it really doesn't matter where it is. We have to go in that parking lot. I think if it just, you know,
no, not
you know, we're not looking for, like, you know, like, I don't think it's, you know, we're just looking for an excuse to do this at this point.
Absolutely. And you know, what better excuse? I mean, look at the turnout for the crowd. Look at how, I mean, Brian has been flying through here doing about 300
I think I've spoken to him maybe like 5 minutes total in the last
3 days. Well, you know what? He's getting great at talking 40 feet from you. I mean,
He's wearing a lot of hats in this.
And he's doing an amazing job. And you know something, this was him and I believe Joe Sutton's brainchild from the beginning, was to just get out there and just celebrate the, like you said, celebrate John Bonham, celebrate the music.
Yeah.
I mean, the band is smoking. The band is on
incredible.
fire. It's actually really cool. Once again, guys, I'm Kenny Howard with Drum Talk TV, and we're at the third and final night of the Bonzo Bash, the East Coast invasion, if you will, and I'm with Johnny Kelly, and he tore it up. So anyways, guys, good night, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Johnny, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.